Folk Entertainment back again with another movie review, and this time we're looking at Sister Death 2023. It feels like it's been a wee while since I've did a movie review here on this channel, so yeah, we're only going back a year to last year, and it is a movie that is French. It's no Spanish, it's French. It definitely is not French. It turns out it actually might be Spanish. I'm not too sure. Alright, I think it's Spanish. It's somewhere in Spain. It's somewhere in Europe. Alright, it's somewhere in Western Europe. It's France. It's France or Spain, folks. Alright, put that one in your pipe and smoke it, my friends, because that's just the way it has to be. It's France or Spain, and I actually enjoyed this movie. Now, it didn't have the greatest of ratings, just to put it out there, so IMDb give it a 5.7 out of 10. Rotten Tomato gives it an 82%, and I mean, it's a pretty differentiating rating system there between the two of them, but the description is, in post-war Spain, there's the answer. Narcisia, a young novice with supernatural powers, arrive at a former convent, now a school for girls, to become a teacher. So essentially, she arrives. You're wondering, what's going on? She's in this dorm room, and weird things are happening. This chair keeps falling over. She's trying to figure out what the hell's going on. She goes into the basement. She's led there by a trail. She finds this hand. Turns out that this hand hasn't been seen before the war. But then it's weird because it says like before the war, but then like the nunnery got attacked, right? And I wouldn't necessarily say this was by like, I mean, it's a fucking war. Like, did the war even reach Spain in World War Two? I'm pretty sure the Spanish were neutral. Pretty sure, like, so I'm not too convinced here, but she finds a lot of stuff like in the cigar box, for example, finds details in there, but then as she goes out, it turns out that she needs to blind herself with a solar eclipse. She's lecturing them, but then the demon, it seems to be taking kids via the Hangman game. And you know what? This is the first time I've seen the Hangman. I never said I was going to cry. This is the first time. This is like the first time I've seen the Hangman, or I have not fought the Hangman game since like early secondary school, late primary school. I mean, that's like a good 10 years. It was like, holy shit, talk about PTSD. What is going on there? But she decides that she might have to blind herself because one of the students, Rosa, is hung. She's found hanged behind the lattice in the confessional booth. R.I.P. It was like a really creepy scene when she was in there, though, because she was like all these hands were coming through, man, and it was absolutely getting a bit mental. But while the others were mourning, Rosa's sister Julia blames Narcia for her death, and I'm like, what's going on here? And it turns out when Narcia goes out to the solar eclipse and blinds her eyes, she goes into a trance and discovers the plunder and the sexual violence that befell the convent during the war. And due to this, a sister, Soroko, turns out she was raped and conceived a daughter, which the nuns tried to keep concealed, but then the child fell ill. They put her into the bathroom and she died, and now this ghost, this demon, is not happy about it. This was a weird scene, right? Because, this is probably going to sound not even uncouth. I don't even know what the terminology is, right? The last thing I thought when I watched this movie was going to be watching some numb get pumped in doggy style. That is the last thing I thought was going to happen. You know, normally when these crimes are committed, it's normally, missionary. This was bizarre. I was like, what the fuck? And everyone I was with was like, what the fuck? I mean, should that be my like one takeaway for this movie? Probably not. But yeah, all the sisters end up dying. Then we have a time skip, and it turns out Big Narcissa's back. It's decades later. I believe it's like, must be about 50 odd years later. She's obviously blind. She's been nicknamed Sister Death. This student starts like laughing and making fun of her, and then what happens? I'll tell you what happens. Looks straight at her, and it's like, you're next. And that's Sister Death. I mean, I thought that for what it is, it's a decent movie. I'm not going to sit here, guys, and pretend that it's like the greatest thing known to man, alright? But hell, I enjoyed it. Did you enjoy it? Aye, leave it down below in the comments section. But until next time, peace. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I thought it was pretty solid.